Before Pixar, somebody had to solve a much stupider problem first. A machine that only understands 0 and 1 had to be taught what a line is.
And it was this man that did it.
1963. Ivan Sutherland, a 25-year-old graduate student, sits down at the TX2, one of the most advanced machines on Earth, and starts writing a program that lets him draw on a screen with a light pen. He calls it Sketchpad.